I'm literally in shock right now because I just saw a 2-year-old pickup get winched onto a flatbed, and the guy who owns it, he's just standing there, coffee in his hand, not even drinking it. Nobody stole this truck. Nothing's wrong with it. Paint still looks brand new. Bed liners basically untouched, maybe 15 grand on the odometer, and that truck is leaving his driveway for good. Now before we go any further, I gotta be honest with you because that's kind of the whole point of this channel. You saw a title that says millions of people are returning their trucks. And look, that's not really what's happening. Let's just get that out of the way right now. You can't return a truck. There's no counter for it, no bring it back within 30 days thing, no cooling off period like some people think exists. Once you sign that paperwork and drive off the lot, that's it. Done. Final sale. So no, people aren't walking up to a dealership and just handing keys back like a shirt that didn't fit right. What's actually going on is honestly worse. Way worse. People are giving trucks back to the bank, having them taken, dragging them back to a dealer while still owing thousands on top of it. It's not a return, it's more like a shipwreck. And by the time we're done here, you're gonna understand exactly how a $65,000 truck turns into a financial trap in under 3 years, how to see it coming before you're stuck in it, and if you're already in it, how to climb your way out. Also, stick around because I'm gonna tell you what 1 in 5 new truck buyers is paying every month right now. And trust me, that number should honestly make you a little angry. Alright, so here's the one idea you need before any of this makes sense. Every truck loan is basically a race between 2 lines. One line is what the truck's actually worth. That number only goes down. The other line is what you still owe. That one goes down too, just way slower than people think. The finance guys call the space between those 2 lines negative equity. Forget the fancy term, all it means is you owe more than the thing's worth. Here's why that gap shows up. The second you drive off the lot, your truck starts bleeding value. Like 10% gone in the first week alone, 20% or more by the end of year 1. Meanwhile, your loan doesn't care about any of that. Early on, most of your monthly payment is just interest. You're basically paying rent on the money before you're paying down the truck itself. So value's falling like a rock and your debt is creeping down like a feather in the wind. For the first 3 or 4 years of a long loan, you owe more than the truck's worth almost the entire time. And here's the thing. Our parents didn't run into this problem because back then, loans were 3 years, maybe. Short loan pays down principal fast enough to stay ahead of the depreciation. The trucks didn't change. The metal's not the problem. What changed is the paperwork underneath it. And in 2026, that paperwork has been stretched out and loaded up more than we've ever seen. That's what we're actually digging into today. Not the engine, the contract. Let's start with price, because everything flows from this number. Average price for a new full-size pickup this spring, $65,964, according to Kelley Blue Book. Not some loaded-up special edition, the average one. Compare that to the average new vehicle overall, which is around $49,000. So trucks are running about 16 grand more than everything else on the road. And it's not steel prices doing that. It's what the truck itself has turned into. 20 years ago, a pickup was a work tool. Vinyl floors, crank windows, that's it. Now the best sellers are basically leather-lined family SUVs with heated seats, giant screens, and trim names that sound like ski resorts. Try walking a dealer lot and finding an actual base model work truck. Steel wheels, cloth seats, small screen. Good luck. It barely exists anymore. It's a ghost trim. It exists so the commercial can say starting at a lower number. But the factory's building 9 loaded trucks for every single stripped one, because the loaded truck makes way more money off basically the same frame and engine. Honestly, the truck underneath a $45,000 trim and an $85,000 trim, same truck. What you're paying extra for is stitching, screens, and a badge on the tailgate. So the normal truck most people end up driving home has crept up towards $70,000, and paychecks did not creep up to match it. And look, nobody held a gun to anybody's head to buy the loaded trim. But when the honest, cheap version quietly disappears from the lot, the choice was kind of already made for you before you ever walked in. Now here's what people do when the price runs ahead of their paycheck. They don't buy less truck. Sales numbers prove that. They just stretch the loan out longer. Second quarter of 2026, almost 24% of financed new vehicle purchases had loan terms of 84 months or more. That's nearly 1 in 4 people signing up for 7+ years of payments. Go a little wider, and over a third of buyers went past 72 months. A decade ago, that number was around 27%. The average loan now sits over 70 months. At the same time, down payments are shrinking. Average buyers putting down under $5,800. That's under 12% of the purchase price. Thinnest it's been since 2020. So put it together. Less money down, more months on the hook, and the average amount financed just hit an all-time record over $44,000. And trucks run way above that average because they cost 16 grand more to begin with. 1 in 5 financed new vehicle purchases, over 20%, now come with a monthly payment of $1,000 or more. That ties the all-time record. 3 years ago, that group was under 7%. A $1,000 car payment used to mean you bought some German luxury sedan. Now it's a fifth of the entire market, and a huge chunk of that is trucks. Average payment across everything financed, $777. A record 3 quarters running. Average interest rates sitting around 7%. Put a 7% rate on an 84-month loan with barely any money down, and you're looking at close to $10,000 in pure interest over the life of that loan. 10 grand. That's basically a whole used Corolla, just handed to the bank as a tip. And here's why the long loan is so tempting and so dangerous at the same time. Stretching from 60 months to 84 might knock a couple $100 off your monthly payment. And the monthly payment is the only number most people actually get shown. But loans are front-loaded on purpose. In year 1 of an 84-month deal, most of every payment is pure interest. You can make 12 payments, hand over 14 grand, and barely touch the actual balance. The finance office knows this. That's why they'll quote your payment down to the penny. And go real quiet if you ask what the total cost of the loan actually is. So run those 2 lines again. $70,000 truck, 6 grand down. 84 months, 7% interest. Year 1, the truck loses somewhere between 10 and 15 grand in value. Your payments barely touch the principal because interest is eating the front of the loan. By year 2, you could easily owe 10 grand more than the truck's worth at trade-in. And here's the thing. As long as you keep the truck and keep paying, that gap just sits there, kind of theoretical. But then life happens. A job change, a divorce, a new baby, the engine hiccups. Insurance jumps 40% out of nowhere. Now the trap's very real, and you can't just sell your way out because selling doesn't clear the loan. You'd have to sell the truck and write a 5-figure check just for the privilege of not having it anymore. And the payment isn't even the whole story. Everything around the truck got more expensive too. Insurance on new pickups has climbed hard, partly because trucks are basically rolling electronics now. A bumper used to be a piece of steel you could just hammer back into shape. Now it's a plastic shell full of sensors and radar, so a minor fender bump can turn into a $4,000 or $5,000 claim. Insurance companies price every truck like it's already been wrecked once. Repairs went the same direction. Average shop visit is over $800 now, up around 20% in a single year, so stack it all up. A 4-figure payment, insurance that stings, gas for a 3-ton vehicle, and repair costs climbing double digits. For a lot of families, the truck quietly became the second biggest expense in the whole household, right behind the mortgage or rent. And that's exactly where America is sitting right now. In 2026, first quarter of this year, almost 31% of trade-ins toward a new vehicle were underwater. Highest share since early 2021. Average amount owed on those underwater trades? About $7,200. An all-time record, up 42% from 5 years ago. And it gets darker the deeper you look. 27% of those underwater trade-ins owed $10,000 or more. Over 9% owed more than $15,000. That means almost 1 in 10 people walking in to trade a truck were 15 grand in the hole before they even looked at a window sticker. Average age of those underwater trades? About 4 years. Do the math backwards, that puts you right in 2022, the chip shortage years. Empty lots, 0 discounts, people paying sticker price or more for whatever truck happened to show up on the truck. Those buyers didn't do anything reckless. They paid what the market demanded, stretched the loan to make it work, and now the market's cooled off around them, but their loan balance hasn't moved. The bill from 2022 is landing in 2026. Okay, now here's where returning actually comes into play, because when someone hits that wall, there's really 3 doors, and every single one of them gets called returning the truck by somebody, loosely. Door 1, the underwater trade-in. You bring the truck to a dealer and he does something that should honestly come with a warning label. He rolls your negative equity into your next loan. Your old debt doesn't disappear. It just hides inside the new one. Say you owe $52,000 on a truck worth $44,000. Dealer gives you $44,000 for it, adds the remaining $8,000 onto your new loan. So now you're driving home in a $65,000 truck, carrying a $73,000 loan. Day 1. Before the new truck's even lost a penny of value, you're already 8 grand underwater. And the only tool the dealer has to keep that payment bearable is the exact same tool that got you here in the first place. More months. Door 2. The voluntary surrender. And this one's actually spiking right now. Search interest for Give Back My Car has been climbing for a couple years straight. Here's how it works. You call the lender, say you can't keep up, and hand the truck over before a tow truck shows up for it. It feels kind of honorable, honestly, but I gotta be straight with you about how it actually plays out. The bank doesn't just forgive the debt because you were polite about giving it back. They send the truck to a wholesale auction. And here's the part nobody understands until it happens to them. A wholesale auction does not pay retail. Your truck might be worth $42,000 on a dealer website, but at auction it sells in about 90 seconds for way less because the buyer needs room to recondition it and still make a profit. So it sells for whatever the hammer says. Lender subtracts towing, storage, auction fees, sometimes even new keys, and applies whatever's left to your balance. What's left over is called a deficiency balance. And guess what? That's still your debt. On a badly underwater truck, that can be 10, 15 grand. They can sue you for it. Garnish your wages. And on your credit report, it shows up as a repossession, can knock 100 points off your score and sits there for 7 years. Door 3. Nobody picks this one. The involuntary repo. You just stop answering the phone and one morning the driveway's empty. And listen, if you think you can hide the truck, understand how this business actually works now. It's not some guy with a clipboard staking out your street anymore. Repo companies run camera cars that scan license plates all day long, feeding hits into national databases. And a lot of newer trucks report their own location back to the lender through the same system that runs your navigation. The truck you're hiding basically has its own tracking collar. They know exactly where it sleeps at night. It gets lifted at the grocery store, at work, in front of your kids, whenever the timing lines up. And then you're paying recovery fees and storage fees on top of everything else, just to get your tools and your kid's car seat back out of it. And this door is swinging wide open right now. Subprime borrowers at least 60 days behind on car payments hit 6.9% at the start of this year, the highest in more than 3 decades of tracking. Repossessions last year climbed to around 1.7 million, most since 2009. That was the bottom of the Great Recession, remember? Last time this many people were losing vehicles, the entire banking system was on fire. This time, there's no crash on the news. Just a payment that quietly grew to the size of a mortgage from 20 years ago, while paychecks stayed put. And that brings us to what actually matters here, because none of this is an accident. Follow the money. A dealership doesn't really make its money off the truck itself. The margin on the metal is thin. The real profit is in the finance office, the loan origination, the rate markup, the add-ons stapled onto the contract, and above everything, the cycle. There's no money in you buying a sensible truck, financing it short, paying it off in 4 years, and driving it for 12 more. That customer is basically a disaster for the business model. But there's a lot of money in you buying more truck than you need, stretching it over 7 years, going underwater by year 3, and rolling that shortfall into another 7-year loan. That customer never leaves. That customer is basically a subscription. The negative equity rollover isn't some accident in the system. It is the system. The lender wins on 16 grand of interest. The dealer wins on a fresh contract with your old debt buried inside it. The manufacturer wins because those fancy trim packages carry way more margin than the plain work truck ever did. And the payment itself, that clean little 4-digit number, is designed to be the only thing you ever look at. Because it can always get smaller with 3 little words. Just extend the term. Nobody's twirling a mustache in some back room here. There's no big conspiracy meeting. It's just quiet, ordinary business math. 1,000 small decisions where somebody picked the number that benefits them instead of the number that protects you. And a customer, all of us honestly, trained for 20 years to ask what's the monthly instead of what's the total. The truck stopped being the actual product a long time ago. You and your signature renewed every 3 or 4 years. That's the real product now. Forever is the product. So here's what I actually want you to walk away with. 1. If you're underwater on a truck right now, the boring move is usually the right move. Keep it, drive it. Every payment closes that gap a little more, and the depreciation curve flattens out after year 4 while your principal payments start speeding up. Stay in the boat and the truck will surface eventually. 2. Never ever roll negative equity into a new loan. If you absolutely have to get out, go sideways into something cheaper, not upward into something worse. 3. If you're buying, the old rules still work. 20% down, 60 months or less, all your vehicle costs under 10% of your gross income. If the truck you want doesn't fit those numbers, that's not the bank telling you to stretch the loan out. That's the math telling you it's the wrong truck. Buy the trim below the one you actually want, or buy the 3-year-old one and let someone else eat the depreciation for you. 4. Negotiate the total price, never the monthly payment, and get your own financing lined up before you ever walk into the dealership so the finance office has to compete for you instead of steering you. Do those 4 things, and here's what a few years down the road looks like. The truck in your driveway is actually yours. When the transmission finally needs work at 200,000 miles, you just fix it. Because a $2,000 repair on a paid-off truck is honestly a bargain. And you'll know it's a bargain because you actually understand the machine and the money wrapped around it. That's the whole game. It was never about driving the newest truck on the block. It's about owning the last one. Alright, tell me in the comments and be honest, because this is one of those topics where everybody's got a number they don't say out loud. What's your payment? How many months did you sign for? And would you do it again? And hey, if you've ever handed a truck back, willingly or not, tell me what that phone call was actually like. Those stories teach me more than any statistic ever could. I read every single comment, and honestly, half my future videos come straight from what you guys tell me down there.